In January 2022 we travelled to the island of Phuket under the Thai Travel Pass for a visa run. A few days before we flew out we had to undergo a PCR test near the Langkawi airport.
Open your mouth.
My wife was deaf, so communicating was a bit of a bother for her because the lady had a clinical mask on and she didn't know she was saying ah.
And the other one a bit terrible, I'm sorry. It's nose. Okay, just relax, okay? Just relax, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, finish already. You can do that. You can do that. Alright, open your mouth, sir. Alright. Finish already.
So 2 days later we went to Langkawi International Airport and boy was it empty, hardly any people around. And as you can see we got there fairly early and it was just so empty. And there was a few people in front of us and we waited for immigration and then went through the baggage check and all the rest of it. And here you see the waiting lounge is also empty. And I was surprised.
To switch them off and ensure that the batteries are removed and kept safely throughout the flight. Please be informed that charging and usage of PC grid are strictly prohibited on board the aircraft. If you need any assistance, please call us.
You can see Chenang Beach and Reback Island in the distance and the ferry going across the island in the foreground.
Please remain seated and usage of mobile phones, handphones or cell phones is not allowed until the fasten seatbelt sign is switched off. Thank you.
We had to walk through the airport to a connecting flight to fly to Phuket Island. We arrived at Phuket International Airport where the ordeal began. All the paperwork was nothing compared to the check-in and immigration and health department. And here is a few people sitting in hundreds and hundreds of white chairs waiting for their group's turn to go and speak to the individual people. This was the health department desk and there was a number of other people at counters that you also had to speak to. It didn't end there. Outside you had to go on another PCR test. Fortunately I booked this online and paid for it online, so we didn't have to line up. For the people that didn't book it online, they had to line up and see the office and pay the money and then go through the tests. I'd already installed the Thailand Travel Pass app on my phone, but I still had to buy an ALS card for Thailand. The next day, once we got our clearance for the PCR test, we went for a walk. And one of the first things we went and looked at was the Blue Elephant Cuisine restaurant and school, and it was on a large block of land, a beautiful garden in an old Thai mansion, colonial mansion, and it was quite beautiful. It was very, very well maintained and very enjoyable to look around. No one bothered us and we got acknowledgements and a smile from everybody, and they let us use the video camera. This is the shop for all the cuisines and sauces. This is the bar area, tasting area if you want to call it that, and there was a number of Blue Elephant branded sauces and other products for sale in the gift shop. Once we'd left the gift shop, we went and had a look at the cuisine schools. There were different areas for obviously different reasons, maybe a bakery and food and entrees and all that sort of gear that separates the different parts of a meal. This woman was showing some students skills.
If you like spicy, cook them together in the beginning, 1 minute.
This is the Blue Elephant Cooking School and Restaurant in the middle of Phuket Old Town. Then we went outside and continued to have a look at the gardens, and this is where my wife spent a fair amount of time checking out the different trees, bushes and flowers and plants, and obviously the garden. But there was a blue elephant in the middle of the garden as well. Here it is in the video. After lunch we went walking and did some sightseeing around old Phuket town, and we visited this Sang Thang shrine. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And I'll just shut my big mouth and let you have a look at the video.
In play, no photo.
No photo? There was a whole heap of small museums in the old Phuket town, and we had a look at a number of the free ones. So we headed back to the hotel and we got lost, which is unusual for me. got to the southern end of the old town, and there was a roundabout that was on the map, so we were able to figure out where we were. There were some displays in the centre of the roundabout. Here's a video of it. There was also a lovely little old temple and some old equipment to look at as well. We didn't go into this temple, but we did have a bit of a look around the outside of it. And as I said, it was time to head back to the hotel and have a bit of a rest. The video was produced by myself, and it's the end of another exciting video of our Phuket Island trip under the Thai Travel Pass, Part 1, January 2022.